There's no denying that Elder Scrolls Online is broken, or rather some of its aspects is broken. And I talked about in previous 3 videos, and this will be the last part talking about Elder Scrolls Online. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how to fix Elder Scrolls Online to make it the best game that, well, everyone could play. But before we're going to talk about this, I want to tell you one thing that a lot of people are actually saying. No, Elder Scrolls Online is not dying. Yes, Acer was not seeing the growth as it was seeing previously up until 2020, but from 2014 to 2020, game was seeing only the uphill growth, but from 2020, it is on a downward trend. But right now, it's stagnating. It's on the same plateau, it's not growing and it's not shrinking, and it has a pretty healthy player base. From 10 to 20,000 players on Steam alone is a very, very healthy player base. Doesn't mean the game cannot do more, because it can. And there's few things that I would suggest, whether they're good or not, or whether you like it or not, will probably fix the game in a way that most of you will want. So let's just go through things. First thing that can be fixed, and this is actually my own preference, that might not be for you, that I want to get rid of right away before we're gonna go to some serious issues, is all about the fragmented questlines. You see, you don't have one great progression questline. Everything is fragmented between main quests, faction quests, zone quests, expansion quests, and everything like that, even though the game actually has its continuity. So what I suggest to do is to add some kind of guide within the game, which already actually exists online, but add it within the game that tells you which quests and quest lines you need to continue in order to get and understand story fully. That's just a quality of life thing that will help you to, well, immerse yourself in the game a bit more. This is a minor problem, but now let's get to the bigger problems. And one of the large problems of the game is that the game is too easy. And everyone who's saying that is absolutely right. You can cheese through 90% of the game with ease completely alone. The only thing that is more or less challenging in the game is the veteran dungeons, hard mode dungeons, and DLC dungeons, and of course the trials. This is a little more challenging, and maybe a little bit of world bosses. It is somewhere in the mid game, but in the late game they also become quite easy as well, for the most. What is suggested to do, and hear me out, is to add a veteran instance in the game. Yes, veteran instance. This will be an instance of an overworld, just like it's an instance for the dungeons, like the regular dungeons and the veteran dungeons. So the veteran instance in the world will make every mob in the game much more powerful and much more difficult to fight with. You will have an ability to easily switch between the regular instance and to the veteran instance, or if you want to call it hard mode instance, but whatever you want to call it. Just an ability to switch to this instance that will pose far more challenge. This way the game actually will become much more difficult and will kind of force you to play with other players as well. Because the game does not have a group level scaling, you will need other players to deal with a lot of different quests and a lot of different things. This will solve an issue of the game being too easy. But without a compelling reward, there is no reason to, well, fight with, well, a bit stronger mobs. So what I suggest you to do is 2 things. First, increase the drop rates of the mobs, well, for the veteran dungeons, so they would drop better and more things in a veteran drop, but also add the cosmetics and different things from the loot crates that are already gone, or rather from previous loot crates, to this veteran overworld instance. Hear me out, and I'm talking about the ESO devs. I know that you want your loot crates. Loot crates generate you money, I understand that. But why do you need this older loot crate stuff? To reuse them in the new ones? You don't need that. Leave the loot crates from the past 6 months as loot crates. Okay, I don't care. If someone wants to gamble their lives with them, let them gamble their lives with them. But the things, the previous loot crates that came 6 months or before, add them in the drop tables, including the mounts. This way, you will still have the people who are already paying, who wants the best and the newest of the stuff, and the people who don't want to buy the loot crates, they will have incentive to play the game and play the difficult part, and because they're part of the difficult, they will need to play more in order to, well, get those rewards. This way, you are incentivizing them to play more and to experience the game more. And the challenging content is a cornerstone of every MMO. And the rewards for the challenging content is another cornerstone. Why don't you add this? Also add those drops to the veteran dungeons, hard mode dungeons, and to the trials. This way, you will have an incentive to do that. Otherwise, there is absolutely no reason to do that. Well, there is, of course, there is a gear, but for the cosmetics, yeah, the cosmetics for the veteran dungeons and for the trials, they just suck. At least now you have a good reason to do more of them. So you might think that, oh, the cosmetics will be gone from the store. Okay, leave the cosmetics in the store, but only leave the latest ones. The ones that came out in the past 6 months. only use them in your crown store. Everything else, put them in a drop table somewhere, either in a veteran overworld, in veteran dungeons or hunt mode dungeons, or even in DLC dungeons, because this way you will also incentivize purchasing of DLCs or through all of an ESO Plus. So some of you might think, oh, we don't want to do that, but the game needs to make money. You want to progress with the game, right? But if the game asks you to pay money, why won't you pay money for something that is actually good? And that's actually what to pay for. Okay, now speaking of ESO Plus, one thing that is absolute BS about ESO Plus is the crafting bag. It should not be available only in an ESO Plus. What the hell is this? You're basically forcing people who like one of the best parts of the game, crafting, to get an ESO Plus. Why? What's the reason of that? Why would you do that? People like playing your game because of this. What's the point of restricting that? So here what I suggested to do. You want to make money for this? Okay, I understand. But what I suggested to do, to at least make a crafting bag a one-time purchase. Maybe 10 to 20 bucks maximum. This way the people who really want to play as a crafters will have an incentive to just buy this once and have it forever. There is no point subscribing for that. There is literally no point. Or at least give us an ability to get some kind of lesser crafting bag within the game just by playing the game without paying actually crown store. And allow this lesser crafting bag to at least have one stack of each material. This way you actually have some ability to do some crafting but not overdo it. And if you want to overdo it, you will go and get to ESO Plus. I don't know, work something on this, because yeah, crafting bag is a BS. Next thing that needs fixing, quit nerfing and buffing the stuff. What the crap is this? Make all the nerfs and buffs only when you're releasing some major expansions, major ones, so that people would have an incentive to go and grind for only the newest materials and newest thing. Okay, I understand that you need to do that, but don't do it like every 2 weeks. Don't do it. If there is something that is meta and there is something that people are overusing, let them overuse it for a time. Make it meta for a few months. It's okay. You don't need to fix it within a few weeks. You don't need to do that. Make them use it for a few months, maybe even years, and then change stuff. Do not nerf stuff, buff other stuff. If something is way too overpowered, make some other thing on par with this overpowered thing. And then give us some more difficult content for us to use this powerful armor and weapons and builds. Next thing that I would fix is add more PvP options. Revive the serial PvP and add some better gears for the PvP. Look, make some good rewards for the serial PvP. Make us want to play PvP more and just give some updates. Upgrade the serial, add some more stuff. Make it bigger. I don't know, make something with this. Add some great events in the serial. Just make PvP more playable. And one more thing that would be good, if you will add a veteran overworld, make a world PvP. I know that one Tamriel's reason is just to allow everyone to experience entire Tamriel, but for the ones who doesn't want to experience everything or already experience it through the regular overworld, just makes us feel like the world is at war with each other. Makes us feel that if you go to the other factions' territories, you will be attacked and you will regret it. But give us not just serial PvP, but the world PvP, like allowing the veteran instance to have raids on the territories, on the core territories of the world, like attacking the cities and capitals of other factions and things like that, just like the world PvP. But now you would see like it's an all-out war. I know it's difficult to implement, but yep, you can figure it out. And last but not least is probably the thing that will anger many people. And I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry that I have to say that. I'm sorry that this will anger you. And I'm sorry that this will affect many of you. But ESO needs to drop support for Xbox One and PS4 and support on the Series consoles and PS5. I'm sorry, but this needs to be done. Xbox One and PS4 are holding this game back. And the game was made with those old generation consoles in mind, and the performance will not be able to improve until the game is available simultaneously on all the platforms. I mean the old generation console platforms. I'm sorry, this is probably the thing that will anger you the most, but some things that needs to be done. Game needs to support the newer generation of consoles, but older generations just need to go. The development team should split and support fully the newer generation of consoles, while older generations should slowly be sunset. Most of you will not like that, but sooner or later this will happen. And it's better for it to happen sooner, until the game will actually enter the death spiral on all platforms. Yeah, this is what I had to say about that. Overall, this game can be transformed into the top-notch MMO, but all the developers need to do is just listen to the community and listen to what they have to say and listen to what they want. That's all that they want to do. That's all that they need to do. And I hope that they will do this sooner rather than later. Well, this should be for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.